This is day 9 called Cultivating Growth. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the idea of organic growth and how that applies to us personally in our personal transformation journey. This morning, I made significant progress. I felt better. 9 days into my transformation, I was able to run farther than I was able to before. So I felt obviously very enthusiastic. So my nature, when I'm feeling good, is to add more to my plate. I was coming up with all these ideas as I was running home, thinking about I could add this, I could do this, I could start doing this. And that is just the wrong thing to do. Usually when you're experiencing growth, the best thing you can do is absolutely nothing. I learned this lesson. My wife, one day, when she was watching a gardening show, said, "I really wish I had a husband that could grow heirloom tomatoes." So the next day, we went down to a university. We were touring a university with my daughter, and there was a farmer's market there. And I walked into the farmer's market, and in the back, they had an entire outdoor garden area with hundreds and hundreds of heirloom tomatoes from all over the world, little seedlings that they had grown. So naturally, that was a sign. So I bought a few of them, bought 2 of them actually. And then that Saturday morning, I planned for and started planting the tomatoes. Now, I thought I knew how to garden. I thought I understood the basic components of gardening. But my process of growing my heirloom tomatoes proved to me that I know very little about organic growth. Many people understand the components and relationships that are essential and required for successful growth. That is usually the thing that we should be working on when we want to grow ourselves or grow something like a business. Typically, in organic things, especially things created or consumed by humans, organic growth usually requires a couple of key core components, and once those components are met, growth occurs. For example, in my personal journey, I've added a couple key elements. Waking up and getting going every day, keeping a journal, keeping on top of my tasks, setting forth to do something, accomplish something, getting it done, establishing habits and repeating those. So I have some core ingredients that I'm maintaining. And as I maintain those core ingredients, growth is starting to occur. Organic growth occurs naturally, and it's not something that we should meddle with. You should not try to shortcut or cause growth to happen faster. When you try to cause growth to happen faster, that is usually when problems start to occur. For example, you might be experiencing a little growth. Maybe the weight is coming off. You're feeling a little bit more healthy. You might be experiencing that. And then suddenly, because you're so enthusiastic, you want to throw fuel on the fire. I have learned that you cannot make something organic grow faster without disastrous consequences. For example, somebody could decide to take steroids in an attempt to grow muscles faster. Yes, that'll work in the short term, but as people will often learn, that comes at a price. Now, if you're willing to pay the price tag, by all means, but most of us are not willing to pay the price. So you can only grow something as fast as it's able to grow. And if you want it to grow faster, then find something else to grow. This is so true in business as well. I see this all the time. Company owners and leaders want something to grow really fast. So they do unholy and unnatural acts to get something to grow. They meddle and tinker constantly. And their meddling and tinkering is oftentimes the source of the problem. In my tomato plant example, I was meddling too much. I was trimming, I was pruning, I was adding nutrients to the soil. And I was actually causing most of the problems. If I were just leave the plant in a good soil with sunlight and water and a small amount of nutrients that is required, that plant probably would have thrived a lot faster than I was doing it with my meddling, trying to get it to grow fast. One of the problems is oftentimes we don't understand what the progress is that we should be making. Like, for example, if you started out with this a commitment maybe to walk every day or run every day, you might have an expectation of what your progress would look like, and you may be completely uninformed. Like, you may think progress should be something when it's actually a lot slower than you think. So having unrealistic expectations causes us to be way too impatient. When things don't grow as fast as we want, we tend to make changes, and that is bad. If you're growing and positive improvement is happening, then there's no need to make changes. We should only be making changes when we need to add a missing ingredient that'll then cause growth to occur. Organic growth is inherently inconsistent. Overreacting to a halt, a pause, or even a regression to our growth is usually not a good idea. Growth will always pause. Growth will always take a small detour. Growth will always slow down or potentially even stop for a while. You should not get discouraged or overwhelmed because organic growth is doing what it naturally does. And so if you want to improve and you are growing, be okay with a couple stops and starts and slowdowns, because that's what organic growth does. Overreacting to a slowdown is usually a bad idea. Also, resistance is necessary and integral to organic growth. A plant cannot become strong or thrive if you remove all sources of resistance. Life needs to strain against something to become strong. At one point, I saw a tree next to a stream that had fallen over, and it was a giant tree, and I was sad that this tree fell over. As I started to think about it and I looked at this tree that fell over, I realized that the roots were really shallow. Why were the roots shallow? Because the tree did not have to go that far to get water. There was a plenty abundance of water, so the roots did not go deep. So therefore, when the winds came, the tree was weak. If we want to be strong, we need resistance. That is also a key element to personal and even a business's growth. The key takeaway here is to be patient, stay calm, avoid unnecessary shortcuts, and by all means, don't add more to your plate when you're starting to grow. Focus on the right ingredients, maintain consistent efforts, and with patience, you can see an absolute beautiful creation. Organic growth always produces more beauty than inorganic growth. Thank you very much.